Peace and abundance always. Welcome. My name is Peter Abundant, aka Dr. Abundant, your metaphysician, PhD, and Minister of Metaphysical Sciences, which is the study of going deeper and beyond the physical layers of the things we experience on an everyday basis. So today we're going to go further and continue on our journey as to understanding the deeper meaning behind numbers, numerology, and angel numbers. So today we're going to cover the number 4, what it means if you see it in, repeated frequencies, or you see different patterns of 444, things of that nature, what exactly it means for you and what you need to be doing or being mindful of along or in that particular point in your life. Okay. So let's get into it. The number 4. So 4 represents stability. It represents foundation. Okay. Now, when you think about stability, foundation, you think in terms of, let's say, a home. When you think of a home, most homes are built with 4 corners, right? They're shaped almost like a square, right? Or a rectangle. But the reason why is because it's the most stable of foundations. Now, we've talked about the number 3 previously and how the number 3 can be represented as a triangle. Now, when we think about pyramids, it also has the number 4 at the bottom of it. That's what makes it one of the most stable, if not the most stable structure there is. So as we think about 4s, also think about it in terms of the foundation, a structure that isn't toppled over, right? It is strong in its stance. So when we think about stability, we think about foundation, we should also be thinking in terms of discipline and structure, okay? Discipline in terms of consistent, doing things over and over and over again that will create or produce the result that you desire. This is one of the key elements of manifestation, is you must be consistent in order for you to create that thing that you desire. If you're not consistent, if you're not disciplined, then there's going to be a lot of holes. There's going to be a lot of mistakes. There's going to be a lot of space where other things can preoccupy your energy and your focus. So discipline is very key when we think about manifestation, creation, because remember, all these numbers are really tools for you to gain a deeper understanding as to where you're going, right? The things that you're doing, are they aligning? Are they creating results? Sometimes you're constantly doing, not knowing if they're creating results, not on a conscious level, right? Or even a subconscious level, you're not aware of it. But when we tap into your higher self, right? Consciousness or the super conscious mind, then we start getting into recognizing the signs that that part of you is trying to communicate, right? And that's why you wake up at 4:44 in the morning, or you're driving down the road and you see the number 44. You see, it is about your superconscious mind, the higher self, actually communicating to you, now's the time, look at this sign to recognize you are on the right path and that your discipline, the structure that you built, the organization is actually creating results for you. You see, now referring back to the number 3, 3 was a more of a free-flowing number, character, essence, because it represents creativity. It represents expression, right? Now we're going into more of a structure of not so much being free-flowing, but being structured in place, being more rigid, right? Discipline means that you are doing the same thing over and over again to create a result in this physical realm. Remember, the spiritual realm is way more powerful in that you can create something instantaneously, right? In your mind and your imagination. But in this physical realm, there is the element of time. And with that, we have to respect that there is a format, there is a time frame, right? That we have to consider as the physical realm essentially catches up or keeps up with the spiritual realm. So you may have an idea in your mind, a concept in your mind. You may continue to visualize something in your mind, but the universe will, and I mean the physical universe, will actually take time to materialize that for you. Okay. So the number 4 is about building, it's about grounding, it's about creating the strong foundation for the physical world to actually catch up, to actually make the components, right? The elements, the situations, the people, okay, to you, all right, to create that which you desire over the course of time. So you have to allow for patience, more trusting. And so when you see the number 4, recognize that it encompasses all those things. All right. You being on track, you building your foundation, you actually trusting that the universe supports you. Okay. Remember, this number is about support. This number is about creating foundation, creating structure. So either you are continuing to create this structure and also recognizing that the universe is letting you know, right, that you are on the right path and that this thing that you are creating, materializing, manifesting is actually in the works. It is in its gestation period. Okay. So it's just a reminder to you to, you know, think about success and that it requires a sense of effort and dedication. You see, success doesn't just happen. There is really no such thing as, say, an overnight success. Everybody where that phrase is attached to, it is simply just a way of recognizing that, well, we haven't seen this person until out of nowhere they appear. But the works that they have been putting in, the time, the effort, the sweat, right, the energy, the attention has been going on for years. Okay. And then all of a sudden, what happens is the universe recognizes it is time for this thing to actually, it is time for this thing to be, birthed, right? To manifest, to materialize, to exist in this physical world. You see? So the core meanings of 4, again, is about stability and foundation. Okay. It is a reminder to focus on building in a long term, right? Building a strong base over the course of time. It's not about trying to build, Rome in a day, right? It's not about that. It's about recognizing that the castle gets built one brick at a time. And in order for that castle to remain intact and to stand for a long period of time, you have to build a strong foundation. And so when building that foundation, you have to be dialed in, right? So whether it be relationships, whether it be your career, whether it be spirituality, recognize that the building of the foundation is very important, is very key. All right. 4 also represents hard work and discipline. This resonates with me deeply because I know and I have learned over the course of my 47 years of existence that the key to truly being successful and materializing the things that you want is to be disciplined, right? Is to be consistent, is to continue to put in the work, put in the reps, keep doing it over and over and over again. And over the course of time, it will accumulate into your desire materialized. Okay. So success comes through, effort, commitment, persistence, you see, resilience. It doesn't budge when, times are tough. It doesn't crack when there's pressure put upon it. You may have a moment where you think, you know what, I don't know if this is working. I don't know if this is, the right thing to do. Start looking for the signs, start looking for moments of synchronicity where you're being reminded, you're being supported, where you meet somebody who's doing the same thing, right? That is a collaboration, a connection that you can make with that person, where you recognize you are seeing 444, right? you're seeing the numbers 4 show up, or even seeing the other numbers. Those are all signs of letting you know that you're on the right path. Okay. So 4 is also about being practical, right? Building a structure, building a system. It's important for me to recognize a system and to continue to put forth the discipline to continue to execute on that, on that system. You don't create something without having a system for it, because most times the things that are worthwhile take a lot of time. They take, a lot of effort. And in order for you not to burn out, in order for you to actually make the progress, you have to create a system, like how often you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, right? It's a matter of recognizing that when you have a system in place, it frees your mind up of a lot. Okay. And it allows you to focus, to be tunnel vision, to have the blinders on so that way you're not distracted by anything else. If you want to make, say, a lot of money, right? Everybody wants to make a lot of money. There are infinite ways to make a lot of money. So if you are deciding to do this one day, and then you see something else, another way to make money and another person successful, then you jump and you try to do that. And then next week you try to do something else. Guess what? You're not making money because you're not focused in. You're not dialed into one way, because it takes creating the structure. It takes being practical, practicing that thing over and over and over again until you become a master at it. And when you become a master at it, that is when you reap the rewards. You see? So 4 represents creating that structure, creating that system, a call to stay grounded and focused on the repetitive actions of that desire, right? Being the person you need to be to have that thing. That is how it materializes. Okay. 4 also represents responsibility and reliability. Remember, we're talking about stability. Okay. We're talking about the idea of, when you think of a person and somebody who is responsible, somebody who is, reliable, has integrity. Okay. They are grounded. Okay. That is the personality of 4. That is the characteristics of 4. All right. It's about encouraging you to be committed, right? To take responsibility over your growth. You see? So 4 is a very, very powerful number. We often focus on very few numbers, like 1, like 3. We often focus on 8, right? 9, but we skip all the other numbers, not recognizing that 4 in itself is a very powerful number for manifestation. So whenever you see 4, recognize that it relates to, right, structure. It relates to foundation. It relates to stability. It relates to you being supported by the universe in what it is that you're doing. Remember, you are not separate from the universe. So when we think about being supported, we're really tapping into understanding that that higher self is communicating what it knows. For the higher self, time isn't an issue. It sees through all of that. So it knows that it's simply a matter of putting in the work, being consistent, continuing to put in that attention, right? That focus, and that will create the thing that you desire. And it is allowing you or pointing you to different directions, right? To look a certain way, to see this number 444, right? That number didn't just magically appear. That number was always there, but your superconscious is bringing you to the awareness of that number, seeing that number, waking up at that time to let you know, yes, okay, to let you know, keep going. You see, that's how it works. So let's get into the angel numbers. This is a divine message of support and stability, okay, as we covered before. So whenever you see repeating sequences of 4, recognize that it is the universe essentially encouraging you to trust that your efforts are paying off, okay, and that you are divinely protected, okay. When you think of four, you think of a square, think of a shield as well. Think of a structure that you can stand on as well. Okay. That is what the four represents. So as you see these sequences and these variations, recognize that though for you, they can mean something different than somebody else. There are general understandings of what these sequences are, these variations are. Okay. So remember, four is a message of the universe that supports your hard work and dedication. You got to put in the hard work and dedication. So it's almost like in order to recognize a four, right? Recognize the universe is supporting you. You have to be a four, right? To experience four, you have to be a four. In other words, you have to be and do and put in the hard work, the dedication, the focus, the stability, the structure. And therefore, right, you will see fours. So remember that. It also reminds you to stay disciplined, focused, right, on those long-term goals. The best things that we desire, whether it be money, whether it be great relationships, whether it be good health, those things take time. They are long-term goals. So you have to really think about constantly depositing, focusing, doing one thing, right, at a time, and focusing on that one thing. Eventually, it accumulates into the results that you desire. So let's see. Four is a call to strengthen your foundation, right? To stay disciplined and trust the process. Very important. That's generally speaking of the number, the single digit four. 4 is a sign of stability, divine support, and encouragement to keep going. All right. Now, 3 4s, 4 is confirmation that your guides or the universe is watching over you and helping you stay on your path. Again, this is about reinforcing, confirming, right? Supporting you and encouraging you. Let's do it. Keep going. You're doing great. We're almost there, right? All you have to do is keep going one step, 1 foot at a time, one action at a time. Okay. And now 4 4s, which sounds amazing in itself, right? 4 is a powerful reinforcement, right? That you are exactly where you need to be, right? And to keep building. Okay. So the 4 the 4 4s is the jam. That's the thing you want. That's the thing that tells you, okay, that you are where you need to be. Don't change. Don't pivot. Don't question. Do not doubt. Just be and keep being, right? So example, if you want to be a millionaire, you are in the being of that. That's what the 4 means. If you want to be in a relationship, you want to attract the perfect partner, continue being the perfect partner. Okay. And you will attract that. You are in the right space. Just continue being that. You see? So these are the signs. These are the ways to generally read the numbers when you see them, when you see the 4s. Let's get into the spiritual meanings of the 4s and how basically 4s are represented in different belief systems, cultures, what have you. Okay. So 4 is deeply connected with structure, as we went over, right? And order. Okay. When you think about organization of things, right? Your laptop, your phone, like I'm thinking of the shapes, right? When I think of 4, I think of the shape of a square or a rectangle because it has 4 points. So I think about the order, the structure of your laptop, your phone, your house, a book, right? Very interesting. These are the things that you need to actually create, to do, right? Very, very interesting. So 4, it also represents the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water. Okay. It also represents the 4 directions: north, south, east, and west. It symbolizes balance and stability. All right. Now, in sacred geometry, the square, the 4 sides, this is why the shape, the square resonates with me so much, because I resonate and I love sacred geometry. So things always tend to come out in shapes for me. You see, somehow the seeing of a shape gives me connection or it channels wisdom for me. And this is why I recommend getting into sacred geometry. It's amazing. You may feel lost in the beginning, but trust me, sacred geometry is essentially shapes that open up consciousness, okay, and allow release wisdom from your inner self. So the four sides, again, sacred geometry is the square. It represents strong foundation and security, okay? Now, the biblical numerology of the four is very interesting because that represents creation. Okay. It represents also the four seasons, the four gospels, the four living creatures in Revelations. You see, so very interesting from a Christian biblical standpoint. In Chinese philosophy, the four also represents stability, but interestingly enough, it also symbolizes caution and urging mindfulness of one's actions. Now, the way I see that is not necessarily a negative thing. The way I see that is when one is mindful about one's actions, they are stable, okay? They are really, they have a sense of structure, okay? Now, that again is representation of the number four, the characteristics of the number four. So it's really about being mindful about the actions and the decisions you make. When you are mindful about the actions and decisions you make, then you create a sense of stability that results in those actions being one or creating positive results, right? Because when you act from a mindful space, you are acting from a space of recognizing what it is that you want, okay, and avoiding the things that you don't want because you're just single-mindedly dialed into what you desire before you take an action. All right, and then in the tarot, the Emperor card is number four. Okay, again, that represents authority, discipline, and structured leadership. Authority, discipline, structured leadership. The authority, the structured leadership, I like that because again, when you want to acknowledge somebody's authority, when you want to acknowledge somebody's leadership, they must be stable. Okay. We do not want to follow somebody. We don't want to recognize authority of somebody who is not stable, who is not a representation of the number four. You see, the number four is a representation of what we want or what we recognize as an authority or a leader. That is the character of that person. Okay. Now, what do you do when you see fours? So one thing you should do is acknowledge, again, four represents the foundations, right? So the four and all the numbers that you're going to see represent what's going on for you, within you, and expressing itself outward. Okay. That's why you are seeing it with your physical eyes. You are identifying that it is something within yourself that's trying to speak to you. So when you see fours, it is really an invitation to reinforce your own foundations, right? To strengthen areas of your life, whether it be, your career, whether it be your relationships, whether it be your health, whether it be your finances, whether it be your well-being and your spirituality. When you see fours, ask yourself, okay, this represents foundation. How is my foundation doing in maybe a particular area in your life that you're really focused on or worry about? Okay. Then another thing you can do is stay committed to your goal. So it can be a reminder, a confirmation to keep going, right? It can be encouragement, because success often takes time. It often takes time. So it requires you to be consistent, persistent, to be patient. So recognize, okay, you see fours, you ask yourself about your foundations, then you recognize, okay, my foundations are pretty good. or I am working on this particular foundation already, and it can be a sign to let you know to stay committed to that, right? Stay focused on that goal. Okay. Another thing is organization and planning. We talked about things like coming up with a system, right? Something that is represents you being organized with pursuing whatever it is that you wish to, you create to manifest, to materialize. If you see fours and you recognize, okay, my foundations on particular topics are not great, you find that you're not showing commitment to goals, then that's when you probably just need to organize and plan. Okay. You need to get yourself organized. You need to make a clear plan and bring some stability in your life by actually executing on that plan. Every single day, okay, I'm going to eat this amount of vegetables because my plan is to get healthier, to trim the fat, to gain, to gain good weight or lose bad weight. You see, my plan is to, spend 10 minutes a day sitting across the person that I love and care about and communicating how our day went and really practicing intimacy and connection because I want to have an amazing and beautiful relationship, right? So whatever it is that you find is not a stable foundation within your life, okay, something obviously that you want to change, something that you want to attract or create, then you have to make plans, okay? You have to organize. You have to create a system. You have to create that foundation, that structure for yourself, all right? And then finally, if all those things that I mentioned just now aligned and you feel like, listen, my foundation is good, I'm already dialed into what it is that I need to build a better foundation on, I'm organized and plan, and my planning is good, and I'm executing every single day, then basically seeing fours represent just trust that you are being supported. Trust that the universe recognizes what you're doing and that the universe is materializing that which you desire in this physical realm. And all you have to do is keep going. Okay. The universe is guiding, it is protecting you, and you will eventually get the results that you want. All right. So here is an exercise. Okay. The 4 stability and grounding ritual. So first, identify an area in your life where you need more stability: career, finances, relationship, health, etc. Okay. Write down 4 practical steps to improve that area. So, okay, if it's health, you want to trim down the fat, you want to lose some weight, you want to get more healthier. All right. We talked about 1. All right. I'm going to include more. Let's be more specific. I'm going to put 3 vegetables on my plate every time I eat anything. And I'm going to eat those vegetables first. So that's 2 steps. I'm going to have 2 vegetables on my plate every single meal. I'm going to eat those vegetables first. Okay. I'm going to minimize processed foods. Okay. Minimize processed foods. So let's make that more specific. And let's say we're going to maybe eat 1 processed food a day, whatever works for you. Okay. Or I'm only going to eat, 2 processed foods, Let's not even get into what processed foods is. That's not what the point is. Then the 4th step, I'm going to walk a mile every single day. All right. Those are 4 steps. Those are things that's a plan. Those are 4 things you can do. And you're going to just follow the plan and do those things. Okay. Now we have an affirmation here. I'm building a strong foundation for my future. Okay. I am supported, protected, and I'm on the right path. That's a beautiful, beautiful affirmation. Then with the steps that we covered, you're going to take action every single day on those steps to strengthen that area of your life. And that's pretty much it. That's the ritual. That's the exercise you're going to do. Make sure that you recognize that with getting from one place to another in your life, right? Putting a plan in place, organizing, building up that foundation. It doesn't take huge leaps, right? From one moment to the next. Again, when you think about a house, the foundation of a house, right, is built one brick at a time. So when you think of a brick, it's easy to carry, it's small, right? Got a little weight to it, but it's manageable, it's sustainable, it's something you can do every single day. One brick. So understand that all your steps should be steps that are easy to manage, sustainable, simple. Over time, you'll be amazed as to how it creates the results that you want. And you really didn't even feel it. All you needed really is that small action and patience, consistency. That's it. All right. So final thoughts on the number 4. 4 is the number of structure, dedication, and divine support. Okay. So when you see it, you essentially just trust that you're laying down the foundation, right, for long-term success. You stay committed, be patient, and know that you are protected because there is nothing that is actually harming you. The only thing that's harming you is the lack of knowledge and wisdom, the lack of understanding and realization that you are the universe. Okay? You are one with all that is. And if you are one with all that is, then it will never hurt you. It is not out to hurt you. It's the lack of your understanding that appears to be hurting you. But the reality is, as you take this journey and recognize that you are one with that has created us all, with the universe, then you recognize that your success, your desire is inevitable. Okay? Thank you so much. Feel free, go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, get access to this free ebook, and so much more. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.